Good morning. Do a follow up because I'm an army guy, right? So I know about the ground and the land. Know a little bit about the air, right? Because I went to uh, United States Air Force Air Command Staff College for a year, so I like to pretend like I know what the hell I'm talking about. Um, I know just enough to get myself in trouble, right? Um, or to feign competence. I'm not as competent on the high seas. Read a couple books, um, and I really respect that the international waters are what truly control international diplomacy and economy. Um, to me, not to offend my ground based brethren here, uh, but we can survive as a nation without an army. We cannot survive as a nation without a navy. Even if you go back to the Constitution, right? Our foundational documents require that we have a navy and require that we provide for an army, right? Doesn't require that we have a standing army because the founders were very um, hesitant to maintain a standing army, but acknowledged the requirement for a standing navy, all right? Because commerce flows across the oceans. You can't afford to fly it. You can't afford to fly dog shit from Hong Kong to the United States to an Amazon warehouse to get it to your house, right? It costs way too much money, right? And so the return on investment's nothing. Um, so that's the oceans are really really important. So I'm going to pretend and feign a little competence on this morning is the Black Sea Fleet, right? The Russian Black Sea Fleet. They got a really cool uh, logo here. Looks really sweet. Um, the commander of the Russian Black Sea Fleet is only 48 years old, right? That dude's a fleet commander, 48 years old. Dude's a couple years older than me. Um, but one of the major fighting formations and that the Russians have. So the Black Sea's not really that big. We can kind of see it here, and I got it blown up. You see the southern coast is Turkey. To the east, you have Georgia and Russia. To the north, Russia, called now, Crimea is part of Russia now. Ukraine, Moldova does not, right? Because Moldova is landlocked. Um, Romania, Bulgaria to the west, a little bit of Greece touching it. Not really. No, it doesn't. Um, can't see because that's Turkey. That's the European side of Turkey. Because Christ, I've been there. I'm an idiot. Um, yeah, so there's a lot touching the Black Sea. Uh, what you also see up here is the Sea of Azov. Right. This, of course, is the Crimean Peninsula, formerly part of Ukraine, now annexed by Russia. All right. So we've already dealt with that. But if you look what is enabling Russian operations in Ukraine over the next several days, because we're pretty, everyone on this planet's damn certain Russia's invading Ukraine. Um, Look at what they have in support of their of operations in Ukraine. It's kind of insane. Guided missile frigates, at least six of them in the Black Sea Fleet. Right, so radar, satellite linked, surface to air, surface to surface, surface to land, missile capability. Right, on these. So they can lay some scunion and some of the and reinforce Russian artillery and also provide deep fire, right, from the Black Sea. And all of this, most of their missiles here can range all the way to Kiev, right, from the Black Sea. So, particularly from the Sea of Azov, it's like a 3-pointer into Kiev from there. Subs, the estimate 6 subs operating in the part of the Black Sea fleet. They're all diesel-powered subs. None of their nuclear capability is in the Black Sea that we know of. All right, that we can see through open source. But 6 diesel attack subs still. You have surface to air, you have surface to surface, torpedo. So good capability there as well. They have a couple anti-sub platforms, but their anti-sub platforms also act as like just a regular ship, right? They might be focused under the surface, subsurface, but they still have the ability for surface to surface, surface to air fires, right? They have the torpedoes. They also have the capability to lay mines, right? Which is an anti-sub capability, but it's also just an anti-ship capability in general. So that's, they have the anti-sub ships out there, but actually, to me, provides a lot of capability. Littoral corvettes. These are kind of built for the Russian Navy, particularly for the Black Sea and the Baltic. So they got the shallower draft, so they can actually get in closer on the coastline. And what they do with these is they're actually radar heavy, right? So counter-fire radar, air radar. So they provide themselves a picture of the airspace and a counter-fire capability off of these ships, which can reinforce their land-based artillery and air defense capabilities. Can provide them pretty good situational awareness of what's flying through the sky at any time, right? And then consequently, they have the surface-to-air missiles, right, that link into that radar network, as well as surface-to-surface, right? So these littoral corvettes and the deep-water corvettes have the same capability, just deeper draft. They're designed to actually go, Mediterranean, Atlantic, Pacific. That's what they're designed for. But they're also in the Black Sea because the Black Sea has deep water, right? We can see that here on this little map. It's got a little elementary depth chart on it as well. But they have a lot of radar capability on the water in the Black Sea. That's providing great situational awareness. And then here's the interesting thing to me, right? These bad boys here. These are landing ships, right? At least 7 of them in the Black Sea fleet. Each one of them can carry a company of tanks, right? So 10 T-72s, T-90s, T-14s, whatever they want to put on them. That's 10 modern main battle tanks on each of these ships. So they can get 70 tanks ashore pretty fast. And 12 BMPs, BTRs in lieu of tanks, right? Landing ships also have surface-to-air, surface-to-surface capabilities, as they should, because you want to protect that massive investment of land forces you have on there. But when I was thinking last night, the amphibious landing at Odessa to seize the ports, like, well, There's your landing craft capability. Yeah, so that exists. There's a grip of minesweepers out there. Those are good, especially in conjunction with your landing ships, your littoral corvettes, um, and provide them a little freedom of maneuver and access. Um, Another thing you'll have out there, these bad boys. Let me see. Oh, I'm an idiot. I don't know how to work this thing. Um, they're soft, fast attack craft, right? They're big speedboats, up armored with your radar, um, electronic countermeasures, that enables Russian special operations, probably Spetsnaz, um, to get in and around the Black Sea quickly. Probably sitting in Crimea because they can shoot anywhere from Crimea, all around the Black Sea pretty quickly, especially where they want to go in Ukraine. So obviously those are there. Russia also employs some non-standard um, maritime assets, right? The United States does this. Great Britain does it. Everyone has non-standard maritime assets. We have, you know, we have boats and ships and dinghies and canoes that have a full suite of, jokey smurf kind of stuff on them to listen in, to monitor, collect signals intelligence, uh, electronic and signals intelligence. We've so there are those assets as well. They really don't look military. They look very civilian on purpose. Um, because then they can just come on into your dock and sit there, and you really don't know that you're being collected on, right? So there's that capability as well. But when you look at my previous video and you see an airborne brigade, mechanized infantry divisions, corps headquarters, field army headquarters, and you're looking all at land power, don't look at land power in a vacuum, divorced from sea power, and combining the effects of sea-based and land-based operations, because that's something that's absolutely going to happen here, because Russia has tremendous capability with the Black Sea Fleet to support operations in Ukraine. All right. The missile capability off the ships in the Black Sea, reinforcing land-based rocket and cannon artillery, uh, should be frightening because there's a lot of scunion that can come down really fast, and Ukraine doesn't have a lot of capability to do anything about it. One thing Russia does not have that I've not seen in any open source on the Black Sea Fleet is a carrier, which is fine. They don't need a carrier here because they can fly fixed and rotary wing from land bases inside of Russia or Belarus. So they don't need that capability in the Black Sea. So I think that's why you don't see it here. It's not necessary. They can provide the capability through other methods, right? Um, and here's the trouble battling as a ground fighter. Here's the problem I see with combating the Black Sea Fleet. Here's how you get in. That's the only way in, right here. The Bosphorus, right? The city of Istanbul is actually on both sides of the Bosphorus. That little dot's actually like where Ataturk International Airport is. Uh, That's the only way in, and it's not. It's really not that big. Um, a carrier, an American, carrier can fit through there pretty easily, but it's man, it's not like a 4-lane highway. It's like two-way traffic. 2-lane. It's not giant. It's big enough and it's deep. Um, but you're not floating the Seventh Fleet through there quickly. Um, and not securely, right? Um, because when I think of how I would have to maneuver into the Black Sea, I have to, as a ground guy, I'd have to look at this as like a breach, right? I'm going through canalized terrain. Um, it's like a defile fight in Korea. How do I establish farside security that lets me get my assets through the Bosphorus without being destroyed by all this Russian capability that's already inside the Black Sea, right? No, and obviously, if we had to do that, we would use air power um, to effect and provide some of that capability um, on the Black Sea side of the Bosphorus. But that's a hell of a naval battle um, that I'm certain not many naval leaders want to be a part of because it looks very high risk to me. Um, but look at it now, like Russia owns the Black Sea, and it's saturated with Russian capability. And I put all these little ships and boats, right, in the Black Sea, but figure relative to how large they're small compared to the size of this body of water, right? And we know they're in the Sea of Azov right now, right? We know Russia, a lot of these assets are in the Sea of Azov currently, right? I didn't put them there because I don't want to cover up all the names. So a lot going on. Um, I haven't talked about the air picture because they can really fly from anywhere in Russia and provide air superiority, immediate air superiority. Um, I wanted to personally look at the naval capability and how that can support and reinforce Russia's land-based efforts. And to me, this don't look good for the home team, right? So Russia's got Ukraine in a pretty bad situation, and it's been allowed to build up for nearly 30 years, right? This has been allowed to build up and happen. Hope it's useful. This is free chicken. All right, I'm not paid, employed by the Department of Defense, the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, the United States Army. I'm just sitting back thinking through this problem, and again, not a naval warfare expert. Um, been exposed to it throughout my career, but interesting to look at how they can enable land operations with the capability sitting in the Sea of Azov, the Black Sea right now. Um, and there's little to nothing anyone's going to do about it because it's a it's high risk. I see this as an incredibly high risk um, operation to do anything in the maritime domain in the Black Sea, other than using aircraft to attack the Russian Black Sea fleet. So kind of where it sits right now, right? So upwards 40 to 70 ships, boats, dinghies, and canoes from the Russian Navy, all armed and ready to go.